The sun burned high over Reno, Nevada, that summer of 1910. In the improvised arena, thousands crowded together, not just to watch a fight, but to witness a duel loaded with racial tension and impossible expectations. At the center of it all stood a broad-shouldered, silent man, James Jackson Jeffries. For 6 years, he had reigned undefeated, a colossus of strength and endurance, capable of ending a fight with a single blow. But now, far from his prime, he returned to the ring, not for his own glory, but to answer the call of a divided nation that wanted to see him reclaim a title it would not accept in the hands of a black man. This is the story of James Jackson Jeffries, the giant the world called the Great White Hope. He was born on April 15, 1875, in Carroll, Ohio, but it was in the vast, open lands of California that his life truly began to take shape. As a boy, his family moved to a farm near Los Angeles. There, surrounded by fields and hard labor, Jeffries was shaped by daily physical toil, plowing the earth, hauling heavy loads, enduring sun and exhaustion long before he knew the world of the ring. He was a quiet boy, but observant, with a body that seemed to mature faster than others. Strength came early, as did stamina. He would run across hills with ease, climb tall trees, and soon his speed and power drew attention. Long before wearing gloves, James was a natural athlete, able to run 100 yards in just over 10 seconds and leap above his own height. He didn't yet know it, but every morning of work on the farm was, in truth, training for the destiny that awaited him. When he fully stepped into professional boxing, Jeffries brought with him the same toughness he'd learned in the fields. He had no rush to knock opponents out, he preferred to wear them down, absorbing blows with a calm almost defiant, while his crouched stance and extended left arm kept rivals at bay. His style, which many credited to the legendary Tommy Ryan, he claimed had come instinctively, after feeling the searing pain of a left hook to the liver delivered by John Brink. From that day, he shaped himself into the crouching crab, a constant low stance, always ready to counter with brutal power. Soon, the young Californian climbed the rankings, defeating more experienced and bigger men. His stamina seemed infinite, his strength almost mythical. In 1899, he captured the world heavyweight title by defeating Bob Fitzsimmons. With Jeffries at the top, every fight was a spectacle, and every win a warning. He wasn't just a champion, he was a human fortress. In 1904, after defending his title with authority, Jeffries decided to hang up his gloves. His body was intact, his reputation untarnished. He retired as an undefeated champion, a rarity in boxing. Away from the ring, he devoted himself to a simple life, hunting, fishing, running his businesses. But the world around him was changing fast. In 1908, Jack Johnson, a black fighter of immense skill and charisma, claimed the world heavyweight crown. The reaction was explosive. Newspapers, politicians, and white fans clamored for someone to restore supremacy to boxing. That's when the pressure fell on Jeffries. Writers like Jack London called him the Great White Hope and urged his return. Reluctantly, he resisted for a time. But national pressure, a massive financial offer, and the pull of a historic challenge drew him back. At 35, overweight and far from peak condition, Jeffries announced he would come out of retirement to face Johnson, in what the press called the fight of the century. July 4, 1910 dawned scorching in Reno. Under the relentless sun, more than 20,000 people gathered to see the showdown. Jeffries, weakened by the years away from the sport, carried on his shoulders the weight of a nation that saw him as its symbol. Johnson, in turn, was not only defending his title but defying an entire system. From the first round, the difference was clear. Johnson controlled the pace, slipped heavy punches, and answered with precision. Jeffries resisted, as always, absorbing blows that would have dropped others, but with each round, the punishment mounted. In the 15th, after being knocked down 3 times, the giant was finally beaten, not just physically, but in the imagination of millions who had believed in him. Even humiliated in the face of such expectations, Jeffries admitted Johnson's superiority. The defeat ended any doubt his era was over. Yet his legendary toughness remained his trademark, and he returned to a simple life, far from the spotlight, remembered as one of the hardest men to ever hold the crown. Years later, with silver hair and a body marked by time, Jeffries walked the streets of Burbank, almost unnoticed.
Hello, folks. I suppose you all want to know what caused me to take up the art of boxing. Well, when I was a little boy, my father used to take me and rough me up and play with me and say, someday you'll make a John L. Sullivan. That stuck in my mind. When I grew up, I took up boxing. And I boxed with every boy I had a chance to box with.
To many, he was just an old man, to others, a living memory of an age when champions seemed made of iron. He rarely spoke of the loss to Johnson, not out of shame, but because he understood that fight had gone beyond boxing. The silence that followed him spoke louder than any speech. In the archives, his name still rests among the giants, the farm boy who became an undefeated champion, the human wall that withstood any blow. And perhaps the deepest lesson of his life lies in that day of defeat, when he faced not just an opponent, but the unrelenting truth of time. James Jackson Jeffries died on March 3, 1953. But his shadow still lingers over boxing, a distant echo of strength, courage, and endurance.